Thank you. So I'll try to be really brief. So as I said, much of our work centers around tapping into the knowledge that you find online, both in terms of unstructured, so measuring communications from various stakeholders, from citizens. So we aggregate news media, social media, environmental NGOs, policymakers, and in order to get a real-time and aggregated view of what the various stakeholders perceive in conjunction with certain topics. But at the same time, and this is actually where Derek and I met at a meeting in Switzerland in December, the idea is also to integrate both, to integrate the structured indicators plus the unstructured indicators from all these communicative activities, with the goal to better understand the public discourse and also to better make decisions, because to make decisions in a way you need to know how the real world works, how all these complex systems are interlinked, but also what people make out of it, because if public opinion is against it, it doesn't help you if you have the best indicators. If they are ignored by the public and you don't know why, then you have a problem. We're trying to provide some decision support, some transparency of these communicative processes to guide decision making, to guide communication strategies. I want to just briefly mention one project because I think it shows quite nicely what you can do with these technologies. We were part of an initiative, maybe some of you are aware of it. It's the US Climate Resilience Toolkit, which was launched in mid-November. And for this system, we provided the semantic search. So we aggregated the content of 13 US government agencies. We grabbed everything that was related to climate change. And then we provided two parts of the system. One was so this is the public-facing interface of this US Climate Resilience Toolkit. It's toolkit.climate.gov if you want to try it out. So one thing we provided was a faceted search. So that you see this on the right side. You could search for any topics, classify it, etc. And it was a very fast but on purpose simple and straightforward interface to access the knowledge base. At the same time, we provided for the host of the platform, for the US government agencies, this analytic interface where we get a much better view of what's happening and how which stakeholders, which agency reports on what, and which are the dominant topics. And I think it's best if I switch to the live presentation. So can you all see my web browser now?
I can see it very well, very clear.
Okay. Okay. So this is a portal we have been building for NOAA, for the US Climate Change Agencies. We're running this for more than 5 years now. And the main reason why NOAA is using is to get feedback on their services, to see how how climate change, how related issues, how NOAA services, how NOAA itself is perceived by the various stakeholders. You see in the tabs up here, news, blogs, social media, their own press releases, NOAA's websites, partner websites, US Congress, and Fortune 1000. So it's very flexible. Whatever online resource you're interested, you can plug into the system, and then you can just do a query on NOAA, for example, or I can do a query on CO2. So you see it's really all real time. So I've just got CO2 coverage, or maybe because at the moment of the weather condition in the US, if I click on weather, I'm getting the latest coverage on weather. And I mean, you see, I think some of you, from what I heard from the introduction, geospatial technologies are quite important, and for us it's also like a technology that integrates much of it. So you see projected here in which regions people at the moment are associating with weather coverage, and the color coding also shows you if it's a positive or negative one, and not surprisingly this is mostly negative right now. We also have a public portal which you can try it yourself. It's EcoResearch. I'm showing you the URL before I show you the system. So ecoresearchnet/climate. You can try out the system yourself. And so it's very similar to the system that we developed for NOAA, but here with fewer sources, environmental NGOs and Fortune 1000 companies. But I can do the same thing. I can query, for example, on biodiversity, and you immediately see on the globe the geographic distribution where people talk about biodiversity right now, or which locations they are associating with it. I can also look for CO2, for example. Then I see how is CO2 portrayed in the coverage, so you can quickly get an overview, the context of the CO2 coverage. You see which locations are being discussed, which sources are talking about it. You have a keyword graph that shows you what's being associated. Lost connection there for a second. Now we're back. So you can see what are the topics associated. You can specifically look what are the negative topics associated with CO2 right now. So the idea is to give you a really transparent view of the current discussions in various online channels. And as I mentioned in the beginning, sort of one of our next steps of what we would really be interested in, now combine both to not only have now CO2 and what the news media discuss about CO2, but also map it to actual emission data, for example, or current events. And here I want to go back to the geographic map. So we think, adding here various topography layers, some emission data, using color coding to show emissions by country, for example, would be a very intuitive way to get a better understanding how all these variables are perceived. But yes, I promised Eric I'll be 5 to 10 minutes max, so I think I'm reaching that. So if you're interested, I can send you some follow-up information, or we can maybe organize a separate telco. Thank you.